On commentary, we have RJ's Magnet and Desert Away. How y'all doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Also doing really well tonight.
Excellent, excellent. All right, I think I got your levels decent, so feel free to take her away.
All right, the race should be starting any second now. We're just waiting on the official start. And like Temple said, we're watching ClassicJames on the left and blrasmu on the right. Both seem like they're. Oh, James is very experienced. He's one of the best Earth round runners in the community, and Rasmu seems to have quite a bit of experience himself.
Yeah, and blrasmu is doing a little bit of warm-up before the stream, so hopefully that'll help out. And James, of course, just finished a full speed run and beat Gygus immediately before the start of the race.
He did the long practice. So we're off here. Just like every run, we get the nice little cutscene of Onett. Everyone's favorite cutscene, as you watch it a lot if you're speedrunning this game.
1 minute, 8.5 seconds.
Yeah. And there's not much to the beginning of this game. It's pretty much, for the first 4 minutes, they're basically both going to be doing the same thing, but there are some minor optimization or like differences in strats that we could be watching for. So it'll be interesting to see who does what, like when someone will grab the bat or I forget what I was going to say, but when grabbing the bat is one of the biggest things in the beginning.
Whether or not they end up needing the can of fruit juice or maybe going for a bag of fries.
Yeah. Things like that. So James grabs the bat right away. Alternate strat would be to just grab it later. You do have to walk past this door 3 times. And the other few times you come through here, Tracy is downstairs or in the hallway here. So it could be a little less lag in the room itself. But now they'll venture outside. At this point in time, there's no spawns, so it is just a straight up walk, trying to walk the most optimally to the top of the mountain.
I expect James is going to be able to turn in 239 or so when Mom fades out after saying yes. That's about as optimal as you can get it. I think some people can go a little bit faster on console, but 239 is really fast.
Yeah. And you'd expect with just how experienced James is that his movement would be very clean and tight, especially as he just ran the entire game. He should be pretty sharp.
Yep.
Both of them on their way back down already. Their timers aren't completely in sync. We'll see. We'll get a good idea of how separated they are already once blrasmu gets back to the house. Pretty much just like you said, it was about 239 for James.
Mm-hmm. With a high 240 for blrasmu.
Yeah, so right behind us. So separated by a couple seconds already. So you can see just, even though nothing happens, just a little menu with the bat and a little bit of movement can start separation a little early. But ultimately at the end of this, they'll be fighting Starman Jr. and
the RNG will win out.
Nothing matters until that point.
So Picky comes and tells you this story about what happened with his missing brother. You have to go and help him try and find his missing brother. That was really good RNG. Mom walked towards James.
So after you go back to your room and put your real clothes on, you got a little more dialogue here. You grab a Pokey real quick, and then you get a call from your dad. But once you go outside, spawns are turned on now, and that's when the run kind of like really starts. People will have to start making decisions on how they're going to dodge enemies, whether or not they're going to stutter like snakes or anything like that. So as soon as they get back outside, it starts to get pretty interesting.
Yeah, the 3 different kinds of enemies that you face off against, the crows, the snakes, and the dogs, all have different movement patterns.
So James getting a pretty empty exit there. Oh,
Ooh.
but not around the corner. You got double spawned animals there.
blrasmu got hung up on a tree and red scrolled by a crow.
He was almost close. He's so close. So James having like almost a relatively free walk. There's like almost nothing in the way. He's already at the top. So
Yeah.
really good walk. Anything around 5 minutes is a really solid hill time when it's non-manipulated.
And blrasmu is finally fighting the crow, but took a death to the crow.
Was he trying to run it first?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's not really advisable. The
Crows
crow's
have
tough
very
no
high
matter
speed.
if you try to fight it or if you try to run away because of how fast the crow is. But
Yeah,
luckily dying there isn't like that huge of a deal. Although he doesn't have any psychic points currently. And I think you do start with a small amount.
Yeah, you do start off with 10 psychic points, so that might be a factor come Frankenstein.
James is just acquiring Buzz and going through a little bit of dialogue, and then he'll have to make his way back down the hill. Going back down, the spawns are off again until you get to, like, essentially the path right between the houses. That's when they'll run into Starman Jr.
Some really unfortunate spawns for blrasmu, and he's going to go for this stutter on this snake and didn't quite make it.
Yeah, that's a tough stutter just because of how small of the area it is.
Yep.
I applaud the adventure in him.
Well, and like where that snake was spawned, trying to despawn it was going to be very, very difficult. He had despawned a dog that was in a similar spot on the path, and then the snake showed up lower.
So you'll see James is starting his fight with Starman Jr. You just auto fight this and hope for a good attacks from Starman Jr. and that Buzz will carry you to victory. And Starman Jr. has about 200 health, so you see the first Buzz hit did about 103. So you're kind of looking for another hit probably in the 90s from Buzz. So it's not like a free kill on the second hit, but it's not like unobtainable either.
There it was, 89 plus 1.
Yep.
Way to call it, RJ.
You do this part a couple hundred times, you start to recognize some patterns. As I'm sure you're also well aware of.
Yeah. I have 400 Boogey attempts and 300 some odd hours on Glitchless.
It's no joke. In just a second here, blrasmu will be making his way back down the hill. I believe he already grabbed his bread roll, trying to despawn the other stuff. Just made it.
Correct.
So he'll just be going straight down. You know, he has a little adversity right here in the beginning, but this does not mean he's out of the race by any means. Onet is such a hodgepodge of RNG that you never know exactly what's going to happen. And most of the race in general is just, you never really know.
It's so true. The RNG through Onet is something that's particularly nasty, and it's a reason that the speedrunning community came up with the RNG manipulation to get through it as fast as possible. But you can't do that in Boogey percent. So
blrasmu getting a guard out of Starman, which is the fastest thing he could do to speed up this turn. That should do it too. Pretty good Starmans for both runners. Only 2 hits from Buzz.
that's a really optimal fight. And there's a chance that Buzz can do a weaker attack that only does about 60 damage or so. And there's also the possibility of Starman deciding to guard, which halves the damage output from Buzz.
So we could be doing like 30. So you could theoretically get into like 4 or 5 turns if you're truly unlucky. James making his way into town here. He's gonna grab a burger from the trash there. He'll head into the store. We missed him grabbing the Mr. Baseball cap, but he's not gonna be using it for very long. He's actually gonna turn around right now and sell it. He's gonna use the money from the Mr. Baseball cap to buy 2 other defense items that actually give him an overall higher defense than just the Mr. Baseball cap. And one thing to pay attention to just in runners is just how clean the menuing is. Like James's menuing is very tight. His movement is very tight. Just is something that you'll see with more experienced runners. He's opting to kind of take a wider angle down the street there to avoid a spawn play or a spawn trigger for the sharks here. And it worked. See how this first Pogo Punk goes. Opting to heal right away, which is the safe strat for sure. Because if the Pogo Punk comes right at the bat and hits you hard 3 times in a row, you pretty much die. So James playing it safe.
blrasmu now making his way down from Pokey's house.
And see James is grabbing the juice, and he is going to use it right now. Because I think he would have been okay. He's just playing it safe. We'll see how much health he has. I thought he might have been about... He had about 30 health. So he just made it safe. Didn't actually take any damage. Trash juice gave him good RNG. This is the last fight before Frankie and Frankenstein. Generally, the Yes Man Jr. is a lot less threatening than the previous 2 fights.
blrasmu skipped the trash burger.
Interesting. Ideally, you don't want to use it before this fight, so maybe he'll grab it on his way up. James starting his Frankie fight. In this fight, every time you get hit, you're going to want to use a turn healing. Which is what you'll see James doing. And he's low on psychic points already, so he's actually digging into his burgers. And he's hitting pretty weak. He's only hitting for 13. Which would make this, I think, a 5-hit Frankie, which it was. So he will get enough points to get at least 1 more life up for Frankenstein Mark II here.
blrasmu having some difficulties with menuing in the the drugstore. He bought a cracked bat on accident and almost did it again. And just came up with enough money for the regular bat, the T-ball bat.
He sold his bread roll. Yeah, that's tough.
Went
Meanwhile,
back for the
James
trash
making it
burger.
through Frankenstein here with a 13-13, which is a really good time. Luckily, you can mistakenly buy a crack bat once. You do have enough money to recover from it. But James off to a really good start. Low 13-minute Frankenstein is very well. It's pretty close to like on a world record pace-ish. It's about probably 30 seconds off, but I mean that's still really fast.
And
And,
blrasmu gets sent back to mom. By the
Wait, did
first
he die
Pogo
to the
Punk.
second Pogo Punk?
First Pogo.
Oh, jeez. So not having a good time here. Like you said, there is still so much race left.
Yeah, an ant's death for Classic James would really put a damper on things. It's
think
one of the slower.
I think it's about like 5-ish minutes if you die, depending on what kind of spawns you get in Giant Step on your way back up. But yeah, so not over yet. There's still plenty of time. We get a little fuzzy pickles on the right hand side too. Yes, indeed. James is having some pretty good luck so far. On top of just actually, or honestly, it was really just good luck, and he had a tiny bit of bad luck. He had to use a life up for one of the Pogo Punks, but it didn't hurt him in his Frankie Stein fight. Did you see James buying 140 or taking out $140 because he's gonna buy full burgers? He had to use, I think, only one. I didn't see his Frankie Stein fight in its entirety, so he's gonna buy probably about 7 burgers here. See if he buys one more. Yeah, that should be it.
blrasmu making it through first Pogo Punk now.
We'll see how the second one goes. Hopefully they leave him alone. The game needs to give him a break a little bit. It's being mean. So James made his way into Giant Step here. He's going to try and stutter these rats, but he's looking for slugs to grind up his level to level 8. He's, again, every rat spawn on Earth. But he's going to try and get to this plate towards the end, I think, to start, where there's actually slugs. And he's going to want to kill 22 slugs, I believe. So he'll look for 4 packs until he gets there. And there's a couple different strategies. You could grind them all out on the first floor here. You can grind out some or you can grind up to a certain point and then move up to the upper floors to try and get slugs, but it's a little riskier because on the first floor, you can only get into fights with slugs or rats, and it's easy to tell the difference between those. But once you get up to the middle or third floor, antoids start to get mixed in, and they have the same sprite on the ground as the slugs, so it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, RJ is absolutely right about that. You can tell them apart on the second floor a little bit because the slugs will spawn in 4 packs and the ants should only spawn singly or in pairs. But on the third floor, it's really tough. I don't know how to tell them apart up there, and I've given up on trying to go for the 6-pack strategy because of it.
Yeah, because you can't really just lead the lag. Usually, the 6-pack on the top floor will be pretty packed together. Ooh, he must have had a really good Frankenstein. He had a good Frankie and Frankenstein, blrasmu did. So that'll help him at least keep it close. And James getting through his second pack. Getting a little unlucky here. He's not getting anything to spawn. There you go. blrasmu taking his free full heal after you beat Frankie. I would assume that blrasmu will also buy full burgers.
That is the typical safety race strat. But he could decide that he's far enough behind to risk it. But I think he did need to use 1 burger on the Frankie fight, so...
And he didn't grab his trash burger yet. So he could at most only have 1 burger. Which I don't even know. I don't even know if it would be possible. You'd have to have, like, God tier luck. And James is on his, I believe this is his 4th pack. Unless he's had really bad luck with the 3rd one.
If he levels up here, this was only his 3rd.
Yeah.
No, this was his 4th.
Yeah. So he's got 2 more 4 packs he needs to find. And it looks like he's going to try and go up to the next floors.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. He does still need 6 total slugs.
Ooh.
So I
got a
guess
lot of
he's going
sprites
for the
on
6
screen.
pack. Yeah, he's getting hit with too much lag. So one thing about stutter stepping is you can stutter step, obviously, the slugs, the antoids, and the rats. But if there's too many sprites loaded onto the screen at once, the lag that they produce in the game makes it pretty much impossible to stutter. And as you saw there, they caught up to him. Fortunately, I think he only had to fight 1 antoid there, right?
Yep, 1 single antoid, and the fight went really well. He did take 1 hit, but he's still in a good spot to be able to make some really good time by getting a 6-pack here on the top floor.
Yeah, after he does this 6-pack, he can he gets a there's butterflies outside, which will refuel a psychic point, so he can just heal up. That 1 hit won't set him back at all. Opting to reset the room, probably a good decision. Really good, because now he can work on just like the few plates that are over there.
One very pesky sprite that wants to follow him, though.
blrasmu over here getting into individual slug fights. Oh, nope, 2. Then there'll be 1 more individual one. And there's James's 6-pack here. So it seems it's a good grind so far. This fight does kind of take a while, though, because every round you have to go through all of the remaining slugs that are alive and their turns.
blrasmu is opting for a slightly longer path to look for slugs on the 1st floor. And is on pack number 2.
James threw his 6-pack fight with 21.5 minutes.
Did you catch his offense up?
I didn't even notice. Shoot.
Darn.
We'll find out. He'll know. So if you see him take on like a single antoid in a room, it's because his offense is high enough. Once you hit that level 8 mark, you get an offense up, and it can be anywhere from like 2 to 6 level ups. I believe 3 you have to check your offense, and then 4 and up you're good. 4 and up you'll be able to kill a single antoid in an instant win. 3 and under you'll have to check. It's possible that 3 still works, but that's what you have to check. But a 4 is like a guarantee.
Yep, you're looking for that magical 24 offense or better.
James starting his ant fight. Ant has 2 special antoids with him that only heal every turn, so you'll see James use a rockin' first to clear those out. And we'll see what he does here. The safe strat would be to heal here, which is what he's gonna do. Some people like to try and get all their psychic points out right away.
2 pretty average rolls with the Rockins, which is, not a bad thing to walk away with. Rockin has a base damage of 80 plus or minus 40.
What, he's right around 100. He's probably like almost around 180 damage to the ant right now.
Two more hits here. Ooh,
We
and dodged.
Unlucky. Nine damage. He's getting really unlucky here.
blrasmu got ambushed by a rowdy mouse.
So Ant doing ant things here, but luckily James has plenty of burgers to keep his health up. And he's done. 23:47. So Ant did him a little dirty there. His pace isn't as amazing, but it's still really good. So since blrasmu was kind of taking a random fight every now and then, I'm not quite sure where his experience is at.
I'm not either. I don't know if he's hit level 8 yet or not.
And you're witnessing why Antoids are such an issue to get into fights with. They have the ability to call for help, and before you know it, Antoid E can be on the screen, and then you're wondering why you even decided to play this game ever. But only one call for help, and he's through.
And another fight with 2 more Antoids.
Pretty good decision, though, to turn and face them, though. He could easily have just been red swirled there.
Very true.
So he might want to heal, yep. Now, James is just going to make his way back down into town. He's on his way to the police station. Well, I guess not technically yet. He hasn't hit that story trigger, but he will be heading to the police station. I would assume that, well, he actually did end up using quite a few burgers by the end there, so we'll have to see if he's going to pick up any more on his way. And unfortunately for blrasmu, even though he's burning through his psychic points here, he still has that butterfly spawn plate that's outside.
There's level 8 for him, and he got 4 offense up.
So if he had to, he could take on a single Antoid, and James is just gonna go for it. He's not gonna buy any more burgers. I think he should still have about 4 or 5 burgers.
I admit I wasn't keeping a good eye on his inventory during that fight.
Yeah, it's kind of tough too, because he's moving through really quick. He makes his decisions extremely fast.
Mm-hmm.
So here, this cop gauntlet fight is actually very tough. The cops can do a strong hit or for about 30, or they do like a weaker hit for like 15, and they also have a smash, which is pretty rare, but it does about 45 damage. So generally, people, once they're under like a 54 health limit, will use a burger.
And James did have plenty of burgers. He's got 5 remaining now.
Yeah, that's definitely enough. So if blrasmu knew what his health was at, he would be able to take on that Antoid. But stuttering, I mean, it kind of sticks in one half a dozen in the other, as long as you can stutter pretty quickly. We'll see how his end fight goes.
Yep.
So James is pretty low here to start the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he started with a life up. Oh, the smash. Turn 1.
Turn 1 smash for 61 damage. Oh, temple. Good catch.
So James did end up using James did end up using a life up turn 1 of that fight. Well, if you're below like that 40 health and you have enough to life up, even if you don't have enough to save 2 Rockins for strong, you probably would make more sense to just burn a life up and be safe, especially in a race. So blrasmu is still hanging on here. Getting smashed turn 1 probably isn't the worst thing that ever happened.
And it really low with the life total.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it's gonna be. He's probably better off, yeah, using 2 in a row and hoping he doesn't get hit twice.
Oh, and he's saved by a magnet.
Yep, some good luck there. If he happened to get hit, he probably wouldn't have been able to outmash that.
The Captain Strong fight for James. He did get to go into it with his 2 Rockin' and rocking right through.
So he's through Onet with a time of 28:33, which is very solid. And blrasmu made it through that ant fight. Kudos to him, because getting smashed is really tough to deal with, and he dealt with it like an absolute champion.
Yeah, and he took a couple of bigger hits from Ant. Ant can do hits for about 20 damage, and it can do hits for about 40 damage. And he took a couple of those bigger hits on top of the 60-point smash.
Yeah, so kudos to him, because that was tough. I would assume he's gonna buy more burgers, because he had to use everything he had to get through that fight.
Yeah, I think he's only got 1 or 2 burgers left in inventory.
James is gonna grab the little extra burger there. Probably not a bad idea. You need something to give to Apple Kid. He won't eat your ATM card no matter what you do.
Or the exit mouse, no matter how hard I try to convince him.
It's food. But before he even makes his way to Applegate, he's gonna make a quick stop at the department store. He's gonna take out probably anywhere from like 500 to all of his money, and then he's gonna make a save. It's not really a safety save, it's more of like a preparatory death warp. So when he can get back to this point much quicker after the next parts of the story unfold.
blrasmu has now cleared the story trigger for the cops, and we'll see if he's going to pick up some more burgers. Yep, going the long way around for the department store here, or the drugstore. It's a really smart thing to do because cops with only 2 burgers is a very low survival rate.
Yeah. Definitely wanna have burgers for all parts of this. I'd probably at least 4 or 5 for each part. So like if you make it through Ant with 4 or 5 left, you wouldn't have to buy any, but you'd want to get some if you had to use a bunch, and Ant's gonna Ant, so blrasmu had to pick some up. How many did he buy there though? Did he just buy 1?
I think it was 2 or 3.
Okay, must have been quick. Must have blacked out for a second. I was finishing my sentence and all of a sudden he was leaving.
I don't think it was just a single burger. He did take out about $100.
Uh-huh. Ooh, look at that. There's a rare butterfly spawn in that spot for James, so he'll only need 1 more butterfly on his trip through Peaceful Rest Valley.
That's a pretty rare spawn. Much better than the sprouts that you normally get in that tunnel.
Yeah. As I said, that ship is still there. A little risky. A little risky, but he got through. I like it though. I think blrasmu's threw his first cop there. Relatively unscathed, still has 75 health.
Yeah, blrasmu bought 2 burgers, so he had 4 on hand for the cop fight.
So unfortunately for him, the cops are being pretty aggressive so far.
Yeah, down 2 burgers of those 4.
I mean, but he does. You ideally you want to have 2 rockins for strong, but you can. If you need to, you should absolutely use life ups to stay alive. You shouldn't just like, oh, look at that. Decided to rock one of them, hit him for 100.
Interesting strategy. I wonder if that was supposed to be a life up or not.
But either way, it kind of worked out for him because he still has 2 burgers. Look at all the mushrooms for James. They're everywhere. Luckily for James, the mushrooms don't really. They have a small aggro radius, so it's pretty easy to avoid them as long as they're not completely blocking a pathway. So blrasmu opting to use one of his. Oh my goodness! Give him a break.
This cop is really giving him the business. A double smash.
The odds of that happening are so low. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, he does have one rocket, but I don't know how many burgers he has left, if he tried to save some for strong or not.
I hope he has a single burger left. I'm not sure if he does.
I think he has two, because I don't think he even used one on that cop. He was thinking about using a life up, I think, there, but he has one burger left.
Ooh.
No.
Ouch.
Oh, darn. So that's no good. Not only does he have to go all the way back to his house, but he has to do the entire cop gauntlet fights again. He has to fight all 4 cops.
And just lost half of his remaining money.
Meanwhile, James made his way all the way back to Berglund Park to grab the pencil eraser, and now he'll venture in and start his trip through Peaceful Rest Valley, aptly named in the most ironic way. Oh, there's his last butterfly, so now he just has to concentrate on not getting pincered if he can avoid it. So far, so good. That corner he just rounded is a, well, I might be speaking too soon. All right, he's good. That corner he just rounded is a pretty high pincer area. Opting to go up and avoid some of the triggers there.
I think I actually took a death through PRV on my race last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did get pinched in that corner that you were talking about, and I got red swirled by a UFO that brought 2 sprouts.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, and it can just happen. It's not like entirely your fault getting pincered there. The spawn triggers are really close together. So like one extra step and then moving backwards, and then you move backwards another time and you're completely pincered. Wow, good move by James there to use the UFO's weird movement from actually coming after him. RNG snakes. I think they have like a 75% chance to run away from you at this point. That might be high. It could be just 50, but unfortunately one of them decided that they had business with him. But they're instant wins, so only a small time loss. James will upgrade his equipment here. He's going to buy a new bat and a new hat. He's going to be looking extra dapper in Happy Happy Village. And we'll see. He's going to probably buy a croissant or 2 here as well. One thing you need to make sure, though, and he could have bought, I think, another croissant, is that you have at least $200 when you're done buying stuff here. Because he's going to be taking an intentional death warp at some point, which will leave Paula in ghost form, and he'll need about $100 to revive her. I mean, there'll be enough money in the ATM that he responds next to, but it's save some time if you can keep at least $100. Meanwhile, blrasmu getting a nice smash on his cop fight there. We'll see what cop number he's at.
He's on cop number 3 right now.
And I didn't actually look to see if he was buying burgers.
He did buy a bunch more burgers. He's got 5 left now after using this one.
Good. I was mesmerized by James's Peaceful Rest Valley. Ooh, good rock and roll for at least the first one. He's still probably gonna opt to use it. He's gonna chance it.
The little gamble pays off. The cultist did not call for help.
I guess the way he saw it is that cultist was gonna get to attack regardless. So if he was gonna call for help, he could just use the rocket next time.
And blrasmu is now back on strong.
A pretty quick turnaround for him there too. That was a quick comeback to this point. Should be much more well equipped to get through. And strong deciding not to attack turn 1 is gonna help. It's a less than average roll, but he needs about 80 damage. on his last rock in here to kill strong. Under damaged again. Literally the same exact rock and roll, but one hit should kill as long as he doesn't guard.
2 misses.
Yeah, really unlucky. Can't catch a break. There he goes. But he's through. So it's kind of tough to die to Carpainter, although it's not impossible. But dying to Carpainter has severe consequences. Ooh, first turn call for help. But he was gonna use a rocket anyway, lucky for him. But he's gonna have to use a second one.
James did catch a butterfly outside of the house, so he's got a bit more psychic points than normal at this point.
Nice. Pretty polarizing luck. It's kind of like the last race. One runner was having obscenely good luck, and the other one's getting the business end of the game's RNG.
That's just how Earthbound is, though.
Really is. It really is. So now James will start his fight with Carpainter. Carpainter is a scripted fight, as in he'll do the same pattern of attacks. He'll turn 1, he'll do his crashing booms. He'll heal, and then he'll hit you. And then he'll do his crashing booms, and then he'll shield, and then he'll hit you. Ideally, you want him to hit like that. Oh, I thought he got a double for a second there. So James opting not to go super hard on him right away because he does want to take damage here. You want to end this fight with as little health as possible. I think blrasmu had a couple burgers left. I would assume he has at least one. There you go, pretty clean Carpainter fight for James. I didn't actually get a look at his health here, but we'll see it before he actually gets to the death orb.
He had 53 before the level up.
Okay, so he's probably in like almost 70 or 80 health, which isn't ideal. It's not the worst. It's not full health. It's pretty close.
Yeah, with that extra cultist that he had to kill.
Yeah, give him a nice beefy level up. There's always going to be a level up in here that at some point through here that's going to get you there's a fight that'll get you to the next level, and how much health you get from that. It's always like a small boost.
Yeah, there are certain fixed levels that you have certain fixed amounts of health and psychic points with Ness.
So here he's grabbing Paula. And we'll see what I'm pretty sure James is somebody he drops his equipment, but we actually saw one of the other runners just unequip the equipment. He didn't drop them. It was interesting. I'd never seen that before. But to prepare for the death warp. Sorry, I'm just like talking and not explaining anything. He's gonna drop his defense items and the teddy bear at some point to prepare for this death warp.
Yep, he's dropping those items now.
Yep, and like I was saying, the runner the other day decided he would just unequip them, which is the same thing. They are not in use.
And I think unequipping them might be slightly faster if you know the menuing really well. Just because there's a little bit less menu lag when you have to draw the equip menu versus the goods menu.
Yeah, I love this part of the run. I love watching people do the death warp because you're banking on this mole not only deciding that he's actually going to attack you, but when he does attack you, you're hoping that it hits you. There's just so much nonsense that happens in this fight, and you can like feel it in the menuing of the people currently going through it. Like the longer it goes on, you can see them just like menuing frantically through it, like, come on, give me a break here. So you'll see like he'll keep using the ATM card with Ness. So that he won't kill the mole faster or anything like that. The mole is not paying, or is not doing what he would like him to be doing.
The mole has now hit itself twice.
Crazy. So
and is now feeling strange again.
The rat hat can't have that much health left. Okay, there you go. Or mole, and then he gut saved. Oh my goodness. There, okay, he's dead. So this will warp him all the way back to the Tucson department store. So instead of walking all the way back through Peaceful Rest Valley, he gets to just teleport there, basically. And then he'll have to revive Paula before he can hit some of the story triggers.
It's super advantageous for a travel perspective. It does leave Ness with 0 psychic points, but there's no scripted fights that you have to take, and as long as you don't end up taking anything in the graveyard for a fight, you should be okay.
Yeah. Because after you go through the whole Winters section, I think they get a full heal.
Yeah, they get a full heal after you come back from the graveyard and you get attacked by the zombie lady and crew.
Gotcha. So both of them kind of just doing a little bit of story stuff. blrasmu's grabbing his pencil eraser so he can go through PRV. James doing his 3 story triggers before he can leave Tucson.
Now, we go and collect a suspicious wad of cash from a definitely not shady character.
This game's great. When you actually think about what's happening in a lot of these little like story triggers and cutscenes, the game is just so absurd. Like, here's your wad of bills, kid. Don't talk to me ever again.
This is like $10,000.
So one thing you'll see here, instead of James going directly into the door, he's actually going to take it from the side and glide off a little bit, and that's to skip the photo trigger that's right in front of that door.
The photo triggers are a good 20-second time loss if you forget about them.
Or if you're just feeling snazzy and need to get a picture taken. That's the flex I need to see during this tournament. I need somebody to know that they're on a good pace and take a picture. I think there might be one in front of the tent where you put the fly paper.
There is.
I don't know if you can get it before Boogey though. I actually don't know that.
I don't remember when that trigger turns on. I always just avoid it out of habit because I know it exists somewhere down there.
So blrasmu having a little bit of a trouble with this corner that I was talking about, and there it is.
Ooh,
Just like
yep.
that, you can be pincered. So just pick your poison.
And he's choosing to take the UFO on the path, which is the better choice, I think. And bashing it out instead of trying to use Rockin', which is a good choice. UFOs have a really high speed and have a good chance of dodging Rockin' attacks.
Yeah. And he's probably going to heal here, which is fine, because he's going to run past a couple areas where butterflies can spawn, with one of the spots being, I think it's a 75% spawn plate for a butterfly towards the end of the walk. A UFO should leave him alone. Oh, but there's a tree there. We're still waiting on the game to give blrasmu a break. It's pretty aggressive. Oh. Hey, look, a butterfly. Is that the break we were talking about?
Maybe the RNG will line up now.
Yeah.
Nope.
Didn't go quite high enough to despawn that one. We already missed James' Runaway 5 show. But it's over. Hope y'all enjoyed it. And now he gets to ride on the bus. He gets to be the best groupie and ride the bus. Oh, is he gonna? All right, he's trying to despawn stuff. I thought for a second he was gonna go up there and grab the hard hat.
Yeah, just looking for those despawns without having to go back down.
Yeah, and that was good movement. That was a good choice to go the way he did. Him getting lucky with all of his RNG snakes, none of them wanted any business with him. We get nice bus tunes from James's game, while blrasmu upgrades his equipment.
blrasmu is going to need to take out a little bit more cash after the Death Warp when he gets there.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's not a big deal. You spawn right next to an ATM, so it's not like the complete end of the world. Yeah, Sidewalk should also get out of the way. We're driving here. Rasmu will be getting ready to do his shack fight while James is getting ready to do his graveyard. Ideally, when you're going through graveyard, you'd like to not see anything.
Yeah, there are a number of different enemies that can spawn up there that can really make it a bad time.
Yeah, because I think Ness is level 12 at this point. Paula's still level 1. Which is funny because Paula's still more useful than Ness is at this point in the game, but she's not very sturdy. blrasmu getting a little unlucky there, getting a call for help, but luckily it was before his Rockin', and one of his Rockins actually, one of the Rockin' damage did do enough damage to kill one of them, so he's actually should be fine. There you go. No harm, no foul, just a tiny bit slower. And James chasing the very nice lady into a hotel room.
Like you do.
Like you do. James is still on a really good pace, by the way. This is gonna be if he has a pretty cooperative winters, he'll be on pace for an extremely good time. Janet doing Janet stuff over MVL Rasmu's screen, blocking his way in.
Gotta love that NPC.
It's like, what are you doing there? Go away. Trying to save the world.
An RNG cultist.
So you're kind of just hoping that he doesn't do anything and you just bash it out. But there he goes. There's the call for help. He could still continue to bash, which, yeah, he did. Because luckily he did enough damage to 2-hit. Because I think he might already be at level 12.
Yeah, he did level up after the shack fight.
Mm-hmm. Which is just a part of that RNG, so if you get an extra cultist early, you kind of level up early. Leveling up early isn't that bad, because he'll skip his big health level up, so even if he does happen to level up in this fight, which I think you still do, it won't actually add a lot of health to your total.
He is going into the fight with full health, though. He decided to eat a croissant after that cultist.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not the end of the world. He's just accepting a slower death warp.
For a safer Carpainter fight,
Yeah.
I've had some real big issues with Carpainter in the past.
So one thing he did decide to do is start the fight with a Rockin', which ended up getting healed. But he did at least get one of the crashing booms to hit, so kind of evened out. And he did have enough for a second, but it was a pretty low roll.
Yeah, only 50.
He did need to take damage, so we'll see what happens here.
And nothing with those crash boom bangs.
Yeah, deciding to life up because he probably would have. Yeah, he absolutely would have been killed there. Here's some crashing booms. This should help him out a bit. There we go. And he's through. Meanwhile, James grabbing some equipment out of the lockers. We missed him getting the bad key first and then getting the bad key machine. And he's already leaving the academy.
I've officially adopted the headcanon of the bad key machine really being a crowbar.
I like it.
I forget who shared that with me, but it's stuck.
James grabbing everyone's favorite character. And no, I'm not serious. Everyone's probably least favorite character in Bubble Monkey.
Yeah, Bubble Monkey is really prone to some heavy RNG, and it makes it really difficult to get past some enemies in Brick Road, and makes stuttering a little bit more challenging in the Pond Cave after that.
Yeah, because if you've noticed, he's already done it a handful of times. While you're walking, Bubble Monkey will just stop. And if Bubble Monkey gets touched by any of the enemies, wherever he gets hit, whether it's from behind or if he happens to run into an enemy from behind, he can either green swirl or red swirl. Really does just make life more challenging. But the game's like, we realize we just gave you literally the worst character in the game. We're going to let you also see the best character in the game. And James will be there in just a moment. So instead of dropping the stuff, see, it looks like blrasmu might be doing more of the glitchless strats here. He's dropping his burgers and moving all of the equipment over to Paula, which is something you would do in a glitchless any % run if you were trying to be a little safer. So a little slower in the menu department and a little unnecessary for Boogey, but you know, you stick with your habits. But while James gets to ride on Tessie, we'll see what kind of death warp blrasmu will get.
Our favorite mole fight.
It really does crack me up. I absolutely hate doing it, but it makes me laugh watching other people do it.
Good opener.
Yeah, good start. Honestly, like, wow, look at that. Now he can just auto fight for the rest of the time. Or just match it out. It doesn't really matter. It'd probably be slightly faster to just be auto fighting. You wouldn't have to be. You come up. But I mean, the mole is doing mole stuff right now. Good mole stuff. That was pretty good death warp.
The mole cooperated pretty well.
But, you know, at least she got hit enough to die. And him realizing that he didn't have enough money. Although this could also just be glitchless strats. You would take out more money here anyway.
Yeah, he did empty his account pretty well. He left the $1 place alone, but
I don't know if he did. I wonder if he noticed that lady enemy.
The cranky lady.
Yeah, the cranky lady that spawned there.
So James is coming up on what we affectionately call the hardest enemy in Earthbound.
Oh boy.
Ooh. That's dangerous.
That's why. Literally can't do anything about it. If the proto just decides he's gonna hit you 3 times in a row, you're gonna die. Luckily, it's not too punishing. You only go right back to here.
And Jeff being
try again.
Yep. And Jeff being a character that doesn't have any psychic points, he's not at a disadvantage for taking that short death.
Let's see if he can make it. Oh my goodness. Let's see if he starts defending. That's usually the strat people will do, is once a second one comes in, they'll just try to defend it out. The problem with these protoplasms is not only are they super annoying, they're super fast. So what he's doing here is he's defending to get through as many turns as possible to increase his opportunity to run away from the protoplasm. He'll probably defend for about 5 turns, I think, before it's a favorable chance of getting away.
Yeah, every time that you defend, every turn that goes by in combat, you have a 5 or a 10% chance of running that's better. I don't know the formula offhand.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but did it to perfection. That duck might be a little too far away. Krogoth in chat letting us know that it is 10%. Appreciate you. I think the duck might... Okay, there he goes. So the duck where it was a little too far away. And what he's trying to do is lure this duck down kind of towards the path towards him so he can sneak by without having to fight him.
He's
'Cause
very
this
committed
duck-
to this duck skip.
Yeah, he's committed, and we'll see if he gives up eventually. This duck is kind of like a pseudo boss, like in the area. There you go. That should do it. As long as it doesn't move up and it moves left. There you go. He should be fine. Let's see if he can get the last skip. Nicely done.
Bubble Monkey tried, but failed to make it not work out for James.
So he's through Brick Road pretty good. One death is not the worst thing in the world. Now he just has to make it through Pond Cave here, where it's just a kind of a linear pathway with a bunch of spawn plates. And it looks like he's going to try and stutter this to start. Sometimes stuttering this first plate is pretty risky, because you could get enemies that spawn on the very second plate, which is just a little farther. He did get them, but he should be able to put himself in a little bit of a jam there. But I think he came into the fight at full health, so he should be able to make it through. And there is a safety burger should he choose to grab it. Bubble Monkey with the smash on the slug. Oh no!
Oh, shoot.
The gutsy rat. Unfortunately, the rat either does like 1 damage or he smashes for like 15, and James got a little unlucky there. So he will have to walk through Brick Road again, and he will have to do duck skip and the second proto skip again, or he'll have to take the fights. So dying at that point is a little more costly. Oh, he doesn't have to do duck because he made it through. I lied. They're all gone. That's only if you die to the third protoplasm would you have to do duck skip again. My fault, everyone. Misinformation. Yeah. Yeah, no, I remembered after seeing it. Apologies. Temple's gonna fire me. No more commentary for me. Just fake Earthbound facts. Let's see if James can have a nicer pond cave. So far, not any different. That's pretty crazy. Literally despawned about 6 or 7 times at this point, and there's just enemies there every time. So pretty bad luck. This isn't good either.
This is a really tight stutter to have to try and make. And that's about as much room as he's going to be able to get.
Yeah, he can do it. Really nicely done.
That was really impressive.
blrasmu, meanwhile, leaving the theater to the right like a true gentleman. And anyone who goes to the left outside of the theater is an absolute degen. I wasn't hard committed last year to which side, but I'm taking a side this year, and it's right side. Oh, you'll hear about it too, Krogoth. You go left. I'm not letting it go. And if Hunter's commentating with me, he won't either. James opting to flex all over Pond Cave and stutter every enemy.
Pond Cave
Nicely
is
done again.
Yeah, really not making it an easy time for James to get through there.
He's got one more plate on this bottom floor here, which is giving him the absolute business. Unfortunately, you cannot stutter mushrooms. You have to just despawn them. Meanwhile, blrasmu pulling up into 3'd.
mushrooms in this cave are significantly less dangerous because they do have a much lower chance, if none at all, to mushroomize, but definite time loss if you get stuck in a fight with one of them, and they could still gang up on you and send you back yet again.
Yeah, James making that pond cave look really easy, even though that would probably give most people a very big headache. He did have some difficulties with the brick road stuff, though. He ended up, I think it was about a 12-minute winters. So he did have some adversity, only a little, but he also did James things and got through it.
Blrasmu is
Hopefully it's only
pinched.
one. Oh, no, it's going to be two.
2 flies.
Hopefully they don't hit Paula, because she can kill.
Oh.
Why did I say anything? Oh boy.
Well, this is okay. As long as he realizes that he got the trigger, he doesn't need to go back up into the graveyard. He can go directly to the hotel from here.
Yeah.
And Paula will just magically be revived.
Yep, it looks like he knows. That's good. I wonder if in like an extremely ideal circumstance, would it be faster to death warp a little bit? Probably not. But like if you just ran into the trash can and 2 flies and just got blasted turn 1. James leaving Winters as blrasmu gets ready to start Winters. Like I said, James on a really good pace here. You're probably looking at like a 108. Oh, maybe like a 109. That Winters didn't do him any favors in the speed category.
No, it was a definite speed bump for this run, but I think you are correct about this being a very solid run, sub 110.
Definitely on sub 110 pace, just not quite sure, because you never know with Boogey. Even though he's got one more thing to do, really, Boogey can also be kind of a pain in the butt and do some annoying stuff like kill Jeff turn 1. But we'll see. We'll see if he opts to how he approaches his Boogey fight. If he's gonna grab the Teddy, if he's gonna just do all defends just to get the bottle rocket out, which I'm a fan of. I like doing defend turn 1 and
Big bottle rocket. Yeah, for Boogey runs, that's my preferred way to get through tents. For any percent glitchless, I do a different route that involves picking up fire for Paula and saving the big bottle rocket for the mini bar. But
yeah, I think I don't know if it was intentional or not, but one of the runners on Tuesday did do that as well. They got fire for Paula. He went into his death warp and annihilated the mole. We weren't positive it was intentional or not, but having fire is a nice little alternative for safety. But something about this is having Paula or Jeff not make it through the Boogey fight, but you still win the fight is actually pretty good, because then you don't have to watch their level ups, which makes it if Paula is the one who happens to die in that fight, it makes the level ups like extremely fast compared to what it normally is. And you'll see him grabbing his teddy bear there for safety. Because Paula, being only level 1 at this point, gets a lot of level ups from Boogey Tent. And it takes quite a bit of time for her to go through it.
yeah, it's a solid minute plus of mashing after defeating Boogey Tent to get through all of the level ups, and James going for the defend BBR.
I think it's the best because even if Boogie Tent decides to hit Jeff first turn, you should still be able to get his rocket off before he dies.
I
Say a
agree
pretty
with that.
decent damage roll also after that, so he was able to finish off with a single rocket. So GG to James. He's probably going to finish with like a 109, 20 something, 20, 30. Really solid run. Sub 110 is a great pace. 110 and lower is just a really good pace, especially in a race setting.
Yeah, a lot of people end up kind of quitting the boogie percent category after they hit a 110 or better. So.
I sure did. Oh, Gruff.
Oh,
Bubble Monkey
no.
red swirling a Gruff Goat for him. This is scary. Gruff Goat's hit really hard. Or can. He just hit for 4, but. Oh. I think at this. He's gonna use his boiled egg to try and stay alive, and honestly, I think that him dying was probably a little better to save that boiled egg. There is a croissant, I think, in Brick Road. There is a food item in Brick Road that you can use for healing, but.
And James has finished with a 109.44, give or take.
So you saw that the level ups to the Fly Honey after Boogie 10 ended up being about a minute. So that's what if you Paula or Jeff happens to die, you can cut into that time significantly. And we'll get to see some fancy text from James here as he tries to get into the debug menu. Look at it go.
That's such a weird glitch in the tent that it just hangs out and spits out all sorts of random text.
Yeah, I like when the random words start coming out. It's like Colty. Believe me, this hint is worth it. Believe me, this hint is worth it. This is good. And to point out, he's probably not cycling through this text. It's probably just doing it on its own. Good stuff. Oh.
And we get to see the best character in Earthbound again, Tessie.
Yeah, we get a little pick me up with the Tessie ride for the second time. We'll get to see how blrasmu deals with his Brick Road and Pond Cave experience, if the game will give him any sort of leniency for any stretch of the run. It can't be bad the whole time.
Oh, but it can.
It's pretty funny in both races so far. We've had one runner just get really good RNG for the most part. James's Pond Cave was pretty rough, but he dealt with it like somebody who's been running the game for years. And then Krogoth, unfortunately, did not have some good luck. And it seems like the same thing's happening here. Or blrasmu, sorry. Krogoth was the one who didn't have the good luck in the first run.
Yeah, and I did a race last night with Peen Train. We just didn't rebroadcast it. It went okay for me, but Peen Train did have the bad end of the RNG.
Proto claims another victim. Getting both runners tonight. You hate to see it. Also, one thing, you see how they kind of made like or blrasmu made a slightly off the beaten path movement there. That's to skip a spawn trigger That would make a gruff goat spawn 100% chance in the trees there. Very advisable. Oh man, literally like the same fights. That's crazy. So he's trying to run away right away, and he's gonna have a hard time doing it. Luckily, the Protos decided not to attack him that turn. Not so fortunate this time. Whew, 3-turn run. That's pretty good. That's on the luckier side.
blrasmu is trying to get that duck skip set up.
He can definitely get it. He just gotta maybe get a little leftward movement out of that duck. And he's just saying, forget it. I mean, I've seen the duck kill people, but normally pretty non-threatening. Likes to spin around a lot, and Jeff doesn't have PP, as I pointed out earlier. So him spinning around and blocking Jeff's high points doesn't really do much. I like the 9% 5 that keeps showing up in James's menu spew. Oh, but
blrasmu gets through.
Nice. Nicely done by both runners. blrasmu having a nice empty first room, first 2 spawn plates. Let's see, is he gonna go for the stutter? Nicely done. Nice empty room again. I thought he was gonna have a completely free second room. I was like, that's some good luck.
Getting the first 2 sections of it clear, though, isn't a bad start.
No, that's really good. There's really only 1 plate left, yeah, and he's through it. You know, I always feel like when I have nice first rooms, the third room is always a pain, because despawning stuff in this takes a little bit longer. Anytime you have to despawn the room by going through a door, you lose a little more time than your normal despawning, because you have to wait for the loads twice. And depending on what how you're running the game, and whether it be on original hardware or like an emulator or anything, you can lose a little more time with loads as well. It's probably about 5 seconds.
Yeah, the emulator time loss does slowly add up over the course of the run.
You should be able to get past that, yeah. It's really sketch, but like that's like kind of the very edge where the mushroom won't come after you.
I'm gonna take that as a mental note for the future.
That was pretty good winters for him, as long as he doesn't get caught by a cave boy here or anything. That was very solid. Duck skip is not an easy thing to work out for you and do at the same time. At some point, I think James should get some of these hints, but we'll have to wait and see. Rhea coming in with the compliments.
And now the fun ride on the Skyrunner back to Threed.
Yeah, I think this cutscene's about 2.5 minutes. It's kind of a nice little break, an hour and 18 minutes into the run, or however long. It's a nice break.
Yeah, it's really split for me as to whether or not I use this as a break to get up and go do something before the rest of the run continues, or if I decide to wait for Grapefruit Falls.
If you get up and take a break before you die in Threed Tunnel, or before you... But after Boogey, the game is not friendly for about like an hour. It's really annoying. So I'm glad it stops here.
I actually used the Skyrunner music for a long time as a wake-up alarm.
Nice. It's a really good song.
What is your favorite song in the game, RJ?
That's a good one. I like how annoying Dungeon Man is. That's probably the weirdest answer ever. Just the fact that it's so weird. I find it enjoyable. Not that I'm gonna go and listen to it. And if I was actually gonna listen to one, I think I'd probably like Winters, the Academy music.
Okay.
Actually, fun fact about me, in my Animal Crossing village, the tone that they play when you talk to villagers is the first few notes of the Winter song. And I hope y'all remember that. I'm asking chat next run, and you better remember it. What about you? Let's hear your song quick before he gets going.
I'd say the first Runaway 5 in Foresight.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, Pyramid's a good song too, Krogoth. You can't really go wrong picking a song in this game. Except maybe if it's Dungeon Man.
Oh, a couple of enemies in the graveyard is unlucky. Ooh.
That was a lot scarier than the other ones. I was about to say he probably could have gotten away with the ghost and zombie, but that was scary.
Throwing the cheap bracelet on Paula.
Which I think is a safety strat for glitchless runs. See, James agrees. He loves Dungeon Man song.
No ninja spawns behind the Threed sign today.
I definitely have some trauma from that. Rhea, get out of here. the bike theme's so derpy though. Oh, nice. Hey, you got a one turn with the rockin'. I don't have any authority to that, but just know if I did. So GG to blrasmu. He just got to get through his level ups and he'll grab the Flame Honey and be done. Really tough RNG for a lot of the run for him, but he really picked it up at the start of Winters. It was pretty clean from there on out. He did have a proto death, but who doesn't? I think I had a proto death during their runs. Meanwhile, James is still waiting for that hint. But it's gonna be worth it.
I do definitely have to give some major kudos for finishing the run and getting through it with all of that bad luck strewn throughout. I would have been really frustrated with it.
And there you have it. 123.10. GG's both runners. Like Desert said, kudos for finishing it out. It is really tough mentally to continue a run that is just constantly down your throat. But there will be other races for these racers. I think the next restream is possibly tomorrow. I don't know if it's 100% determined, so just be on the lookout for that. Thanks for allowing us to do the restream, and Desert, thanks for doing commentary with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there is going to be another race on Monday night with Uko and
Me.
Oh, you?
Yeah,
There
so
you go.
definitely on Monday, but I'm not there. There might be one tomorrow as well, so you could just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
Do we know
definitely
who
drop
we're
a
gonna
follow.
throw a host to? RPG Limit Break, maybe?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and step out here. Thank you, RJ.
Take it easy, Desert. Yeah, we're gonna be hosting RPG Limit Break, so take it easy, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the race, and be on the lookout for future ones.